They say Yosemite National Park is a place of breathtaking beauty, but behind the towering cliffs and whispering pines lurks something ancient, something that doesn't belong. What if the very silence of the forest was a trap? Tonight, you'll hear the chilling tale of a skinwalker who haunts Yosemite's darkest trails, and the victims who never made it out. The first disappearance was written off as a tragic accident. A young hiker named Daniel had been camping near Tuolumne Meadows. He told his friends that at night, he'd heard someone calling his name, his mother's voice, impossibly soft, echoing through the trees. When the search team found his campsite, his boots were still by the fire, but his footprints led barefoot into the woods. They ended abruptly at a patch of pine needles, as if he had been lifted straight from the ground. The second victim was a seasonal ranger named Claire. She had radioed in a strange report. "There's a child out here. He looks lost." Her voice carried confusion, then fear. The signal cut off mid-sentence. They never found her body, only her hat tangled in a branch 15 feet off the ground. By the third disappearance, whispers of something darker began spreading among the rangers. They spoke in hushed tones about Yosemite Skinwalker. It was Ranger Elias Monroe who finally pieced together the story. He'd been stationed at Yosemite for over a decade, and he'd seen the park's moods, the calm, the deadly storms, the eerie stillness that sometimes smothered the forest at night. But this was different. One evening, as the sun sank and the granite cliffs burned orange, Elias received a call from a pair of hikers near Mirror Lake. They claimed something was stalking them, a man that didn't move like a man. Elias drove out, flashlight and rifle in hand, following the winding trail as twilight deepened into a suffocating black. The forest was unnaturally quiet. No crickets, no owls, just the crunch of his boots on gravel and the faint rush of the Merced River. That's when he heard it. Elias, the voice was his sister's. She lived 3 states away. "Elias, I need your help." His chest tightened. The voice was wrong, not just distant but cracked, as if forced through a throat unused to human speech. It came from the trees, maybe 30 feet away. He raised his light. A figure stood between the trunks, tall, unnaturally thin, its limbs bent the wrong way, knees jutting forward like a deer's. The face, if it could be called, that was shifting, twisting, struggling to mimic something familiar. His sister's eyes, his sister's smile, stretched across a skull that wasn't built for it. It smiled too wide. Elias, the ranger, froze, every instinct screaming to look away. But he forced himself to keep the beam of his flashlight on it. That's when the thing moved, not toward him, not away. It moved around him, circling, its steps completely silent. The hikers were never found, only their torn packs, slashed open as though by claws, resting in the shallows of Mirror Lake. Elias didn't report what he saw. Who would believe him? Instead, he began watching the case files, the missing persons reports, the unexplainable screams that echoed down Yosemite Valley at night. Then came the night he realized the Skinwalker wasn't confined to the deep woods anymore. At the ranger station, just past midnight, he heard laughter outside, children laughing. He stepped onto the porch, his flashlight sweeping across the dark meadow. Nothing. The laughter stopped. When he turned back, he saw muddy handprints smeared across the glass door, tiny hands. The radios began to crackle with static. Then, through the distortion, Elias's own voice, calling himself. Over the following weeks, Elias documented the creature's behavior. It mimicked the voices of lost hikers, children, even fellow rangers. It grew bolder, approaching campsites, scratching at tents in the dead of night. Some campers reported hearing their loved ones calling from the darkness, only to find no one there. One night, Elias placed motion-triggered cameras deep in the forest. When he retrieved them, most of the footage was corrupted. But one clip remained, a shape crawling into frame, bone-thin, pale against the shadows. It pulled itself forward on all fours, its spine twisting like a centipede. Then it stood upright, its face flickering between features: a young boy, an old woman, a blank mask of flesh. Finally, it turned toward the lens and smiled. The footage ended with static. The disappearances continue to this day. Yosemite, they say, claims it's own, but some believe it isn't. The cliffs or rivers that take them. It's something far older, something that waits in the stillness, borrowing voices, wearing stolen faces. So if you ever camp in Yosemite and hear a loved one calling your name from the trees, don't answer, don't look, don't follow, because what waits for you in the dark isn't human. If this story chilled you, make sure to subscribe for more terrifying tales. Turn on notifications so you never miss one. And leave a comment below if you survive a night in Yosemite knowing the Skinwalker is out there.